Hello, welcome back. How is everyone doing? Welcome back to Personal Growth Class, and I am your instructor, Dominique McGee. I hope everyone is doing well. This week, we will be going over identifying our needs and setting our own personal boundaries. Now, you know I'm not one for wasting anyone's time, so let's go ahead and get into the mission. And go and get that pen because you know I brought my notes. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. When we think about setting our own personal values, living by our own personal values, right? And our own morals and guidelines. We also have to add in our boundaries. How far we are willing to go. Where do we draw the line? What treatment is acceptable and what treatment is not acceptable? How we are to treat others and how we want to be treated. Doing the best we can to be there for others and still maintaining our sanity and being overall healthy. So we're going to get into the importance of self-awareness when it comes to setting healthy boundaries. You have to have a high level of self-awareness. Me, what I'm about, what I'm against, what is acceptable in my life, for like what is acceptable treatment for me and for me, ways acceptable ways for me to treat others. What is acceptable behavior that people can expect from me and that I'm going to accept from people? What are my limits when it comes to giving and being there? Because sometimes we can overpour so much of ourselves into others. And it can leave us distressed, overwhelmed, overexerted, and down a slippery slope of, I don't want to be around people. I don't like people. When our genuine nature is to love and care for each other. But we can't leave ourselves out in that process. We must understand that it's extremely important to take care of ourselves. And a part of taking care of ourselves in our self-care should be setting healthy personal boundaries in our life. And it is extremely important that our boundaries go off of our morals, our values, our beliefs. It goes off of our acceptable and non-acceptable behaviors. It goes off of how we want to be treated and how we're going to treat others. And as we get into it, a lot of us may not have boundaries in place. So I want to take a quick second. Let me look at my notes. To ask, do you have boundaries? If so, what are your boundaries? Where is the line for you? Do you have limits? Even in the worst circumstances, in the worst situations that life can possibly throw at us, we have to have boundaries, because in this day and time, everything is so overwhelming. So I want to go over just a few signs of if you may be in need of setting some boundaries. Okay, so let's get into it. Number one, if you are constantly feeling chronically taken advantage of, emotionally, mentally, physically, you're just being handled. taken from every which way. Your time, what you're giving out, you're overexerting yourself, you're overwhelmed, you feel stressed, you feel bogged down. Every day it's everyone's problems. You're waking up with them, you're going to sleep with them. Hey, if this is you, this system here is not going to work. We need to set some boundaries. You don't have to say yes all the time. You don't have to allow people to pour in all of their negativity into you. You don't have to be the yes guy or the yes girl. You can say no. It is okay to stand up for yourself. It's okay to stand your ground and say, no, well, this treatment is not acceptable. I'm not going with that no matter what I need or what I'm going through. So setting healthy boundaries. If this sounds like you feel like you're constantly being taken advantage of, yeah, we're going to have to get some boundaries in place that can help you thrive and continue to show up as your best self. Because no one should have to feel emotional, mentally, and financially drained on a day-to-day basis in the name of doing right or in the name of helping someone or in the name of being there. Because you cannot forget to be there for yourself as well. That is also, you are worthy. You are important. And don't forget your own needs, your own responsibilities, your own commitments to yourself and to your family. Only you know. So you have to know when and where to draw the line when it comes to you. So let's get into number 2. You guys ready? I hope you come on, get these gems. Get these gems. And we also will be going over them in our workshop. I'm really excited. So, like I said, if you're often feeling overexerted, overwhelmed, and mishandled in emotionally, physically, financially, in these areas, it is definitely time to develop and set in place your boundaries. Your boundaries in the area of your life and with the people in your life. And that are causing you to feel all this pressure, this stress, this overwhelm, feeling overexerted. Now, we're going to deal with that. We're not going to run from it. We're going to deal with it. We're going to face it because we started it. We're going to finish it. Okay? So, part number 2 is saying yes to please others at your own expense. Let me just say this. This system has not, nor will it ever work. It will continue to, yes, it will work in a way. It will continue to work against you. Your kindness will continue to be taken as a weakness. You will continue to feel the pressure of being taken advantage of in so many different ways if you become the yes person. If you, yeah, I'll do it. Oh, no problem. Yes. No, let someone else bring something to the table, especially at events and for bringing things together and being there for others. You don't always have to be the one who says yes. Okay, and at your own expense. Sometimes people will use that because they know that you're going to say yes and that you're going to do it with no problem. And hey, they might not even have to pay for it. That's why they came to you. Not because they expect your talent or your friendship or what you're trying to do. No, don't put yourself in a place where you feel used and not appreciated for what you do for people. 3, not getting your needs met because you tend to fear conflict. So, because you don't want to get into a conflict with others, you neglect your own personal needs. That system will not work. I want you to understand that the internal conflict that you are going through with yourself because you refuse to go on an external conflict with someone else about your own needs. Well, setting boundaries is a mutual respect thing. If you care for me, if you love me, if you want to be in my life, I'm going to respect your time. I'm going to respect your place, your space. I'm going to be there for you just as much as you're going to be there for me. I'm going to pour into you just as much as you're going to pour into me. All of these things matter. But our boundaries on the table matters as well. So us taking the time to set these boundaries, no matter if they're with our friends or in our personal relationships with our employer, in our family, boundaries must be set. And that's just a really uncomfortable place for a lot of us. But let's think of how uncomfortable you are every day with yourself because your needs are not getting met. You are worthy. You are worthy. And your needs matter. So if you got to make a fuss about them, let's go ahead and make a fuss about our needs and set our boundaries, set our standards nice and right, okay? 4, often feeling disrespected by others because, as if I was just saying in number 3, because you avoid conflict or because you don't stand up for yourself. People will almost indefinitely always, when I say always, I mean always run over somebody who does not stand up for themselves. Nobody's needs or wants is more important than yours. So you should not put yourself in a situation where you're overgiving, overexerting, and overdoing for others. I just had to say that, yeah. But I really want you to think about it. Hey, you got to nobody, I can't stand up for you. I can stand with you. Okay? So we have to build on my needs matter. I am worthy. I am worth it. So yeah, I'm definitely going to set the boundaries that and in place, and I'm going to implement them in my relationships, in my life, because I am worthy and my needs deserve to be met. Okay, so let's get into 4, abandonment and neglection issues. A fear of not being accepted. So you will accept less than what you deserve. There is no such thing as something is better than nothing. Yes, when we were talking about giving and being there, yes, for others. But when it comes to our own personal needs and it comes to our hearts and how we value ourselves, baby, you are worth it. You should never settle in this life. Not a young woman, not a young man, not an older man, not an older woman. You should never catch yourself in a situation where if I feel like you're going to leave me and I'm going to have no one, so I'm going to settle with this type of treatment, even though it's not how I want to be treated. Or I'm going to settle with this type of behavior, even though it goes against everything I stand on. No. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be loved and cared for. You are worthy. And once you remember that, you will understand, hold on. I need to put myself first. God first, then me, then, down the line. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, who will take care of you? And I'm not talking about shallow. I'm talking about inside and out. Baby, you are worthy. So take the time to identify your own personal needs. That means understanding you, accepting you for who you are in the entirety. Your flaws, your good parts, everything about you is spectacular. It's giving something great. Yes, come on with it. Yes. But I'm going to need you to feel like that about you. And that's deriving to the point of self-awareness. What are my needs? What do I stand on? Where do I draw the line? So I know where my boundaries need to be set and implemented in my life. So let's go. Because I'm so excited for you guys for taking the steps to understand, hey, I'm important. Hey, I don't want to lose life. I don't want to pass away one day and I didn't consider myself. When I tell you, when you take the time to encourage yourself, love yourself, take care of yourself, you are giving yourself the nourishment you need to show up as your best self, to operate as your best self, to give whatever you put your mind to, your all. Whatever you set out to, you'll give it your all. Because it's how you're going to come. So taking the time to work on your own personal growth is an exciting new beginning. It's an exciting journey to sit down and discover, hey, where in my life do I need to make the proper adjustments? Because in order for me to go to places I have not gone, I have to do things I have not done. That means I also have to cut off things that no longer serve me so I can pick up new talents, that I can expand in my skills. So that also means I need to dig a little deeper and implement some boundaries. I need to have a system that works for me, that I can continue on my journey to my betterment, that will sustain me all throughout my life, my growth process. And that's what we are on right now. And I'm so thankful. Yeah, I'm just giving y'all some love. I'm just sending out that love because I really want you guys to understand how excited I am for you all. How important this is. Yes, honey. Yes, it is extremely important. So let's get into it before we get up out here, because y'all done started letting me start praising y'all. Woo! Let's go. I get excited. I do when I think about others' personal growth and just watching you grow and become nourished and understand. And as you take part of your self-rediscovery journey and you start taking your power back and start taking the hold of your life and start growing and moving, baby, you can't be stopped. You are forced to be reckoned with. And I'm just there cheering you on. Let's go. Okay, now, some of these may be with people that we need to set boundaries with, but they were also really good key points that I had to add to my notes. So also some areas where you may need to set boundaries. Engaging in people-pleasing behaviors in order to be liked or approved. You're not meant to sit at every table. Everyone is not meant to be your friend. But those that are, will love you and cherish you. Yes, some people come for a season, and that season may be a rough season. But do you understand that that rough season was a learning experience to you? That type of person with that type of personality will never be able to handle you in that type of manner again. You've leveled up and learned something. There are many lessons in our life, and paying it forward to be cared for, to be liked or accepted is not it. Pay it forward with yourself. Okay? Love yourself, like yourself. Be the reason you enter the room, okay? It is okay when they don't like you. It is okay when they don't accept you, because you're not everybody's cup of tea. But when you find out who your crew is, you'll be a lot happier that you didn't settle in these areas. So don't give your greatness up just to anybody and anybody because you want to be accepted and cared for. No, care and accept yourself. That's the key point. Okay, engaging in behaviors that is harmful and disrespectful to yourself and others. People with the drama. Some of us do have people in our life that attract us to drama. And sometimes we have to stop and ask ourselves, am I the drama? Is it me? Am I the drama? I need to stop. I need to cut it out. I really need to cut it out before somebody start cutting me off. Let me cut it off. You have to sit down and evaluate yourself. And once you discover if you are the drama or not, okay, y'all, because some people is really the drama. They just refuse to admit it. But let's get back in the lesson. If you are not the drama, but you are close or prone to be attracted to drama starting people, you will need to set boundaries in your relationships, friendships, associates, and so forth. Engaging in unhealthy behaviors that causes problems and hurts others is just about the same. And let me get into the last one because I really wanted to say this one. Not having limits. Willing to go any level, to do any and everything for your needs. You have to have a set of values and morals in place. What you stand on, what you go by. What is your code of conduct for your life? What is your moral system? What are your values? What is your value system? See, when we think about these things, we look at, oh, this is how far I'm going to let someone cross me. This is how much I'm going to let somebody do me. But what about you? How far are you willing to go? Recognize your own boundaries in areas where you need work on yourself just as much as you need to set boundaries for those in our life and the different areas in our life. It is extremely important as a part of self-care to maintain healthy relationships and to set boundaries in place and implement them and stay dedicated to them, because these boundaries are for our overall betterment, for our overall well-being. And by setting them in place, I'm pretty sure things in our life will go a lot smoother. We will feel a lot better, and our relationships will be a lot more at ease. Well, that is all for today. And I thank you all for coming in to class today. And you guys are doing so great. I look forward to our next lesson next week. As we go into our workshop, we will be going over identifying our own personal boundaries and the areas we need to implement them. So go ahead on and see you in class next week.